Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani. Welcome to the temple. Glad to see you here today. We're kind of light today because all the monks and some of the people who come here are all at a festival in Anaheim. So you have us today, and we're glad to see you. Kashanti will start now with a meditation, followed by a Dharma talk.
So if you'll all relax, close your eyes, take a few deep breaths. May I be well and happy, peaceful and free from suffering. May no harm come to me. May no difficulties come to me. May no problems come to me. May I always find fulfillment. May I also have the patience, courage, understanding, and determination to meet and overcome the inevitable difficulties, problems, and failures in life. May my teachers, my parents, my siblings, my friends and relatives, may they be well and happy, peaceful and free from suffering. May no harm come to them. May no difficulties come to them. May no problems come to them. May they always find fulfillment. May they also have the patience, courage, understanding, and determination to meet and overcome the inevitable difficulties, problems, and failures in life. May those I meet in my everyday life, may those who are merely acquaintances, may they be well and happy, peaceful and free from suffering. May no harm come to them. May no difficulties come to them. May no problems come to them. May they always find fulfillment. May they also have the patience, courage, understanding, and determination to meet and overcome the inevitable difficulties, problems, and failures in life. May those who wish me ill will, who make my life difficult, may they be well and happy, peaceful and free from suffering. May no harm come to them. May no difficulties come to them. May no problems come to them. May they always find fulfillment. May they also have the patience, courage, understanding, and determination to meet and overcome the inevitable difficulties, problems, and failures in life. May all creatures arisen in these realms, either with form or without, with consciousness or without, may they be well and happy, peaceful and free from suffering. May no harm come to them. May no difficulties come to them. May no problems come to them. May they always find fulfillment. May they also have the patience, courage, understanding, and determination to meet and overcome the inevitable difficulties, problems, and failures in life. May suffering ones be suffering free, and the fear-struck fearless be. May the grieving shed all grief, and the sick find health relief. Now, if you will meditate for a few moments, thinking of someone you wish to send loving kindness to, continue in silence until you hear the bell.
Om
Mani
Mani
Padme Hum.
Hum. A little bit about us. We started coming to the temple in 1996. So it's been almost 30 years. And Kashanti and I um, studied with Reverend Karuna, and in 2004 we took full ordination. And we're from New York. And if anyone told us that we would end up being Buddhists in New York, we would have thought they were crazy. But I keep remember something that Reverend Karuna always told us is that nobody ever converts to Buddhism. It's something you find and that you always believed in. You just didn't know it existed. And I think that's true with most of us who find this way of living, this religion, this philosophy. So now we will be enlightened by Reverend Kashanti. Could give us our Dharma talk for today.
You're not going to quite reach enlightenment today. A little bit more about this temple. It was founded by Thich Thien An, who's a Dharma brother of Thich Nhat Hanh, both Vietnamese Zen Buddhists. Thich Nhat Hanh founded Engaged Buddhism, which is a unique, very active way of practicing Buddhism. Thich Thien An, because I guess he was a teacher first at UCLA and his students, he founded this temple, the International Buddhist Meditation Center, for the various branches of Buddhism. So when we came here, there was Mahayana Zen, but there was also Theravadan, there was Pure Land, there was even Vajrayana. So by just being here, we were exposed to all the various branches. And you kind of immerse yourself and the things cross-pollinate. But Reverend Karuna was an incredible teacher. She kind of zeroed in on a few of us to become her students. And that's a very special relationship. Then, one of the key components is the teacher-student relationship. Not so much books, not so much learning, but it's what you acquire from your teacher. And we studied the various Mahayana sutras. Okay, a word about that. When the Buddha first became enlightened, he was met on the road, and someone said, "Who are you? I mean, are you a man? Are you a spirit?" And the Buddha said, "I am awake." And it wasn't, "I am a man who is awake." He was awake. He was at one with the world and free of the hindrances, the poisons that we all encounter and deal with. From that phrase, Buddhism is born. And he gave the first turning of the wheel to his small group of fellow meditators. And that was the Four Noble Truths, that there is suffering, there's a cause to the suffering, there's a way to end the suffering, and the way is the Eightfold Noble Path. All strains of Buddhism have that in common. And then you add to that an explanation, the poisons, anger, greed, delusion, the Brahma Viharas, loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity, that there is suffering, there is impermanence, and there is non-self. And the first branch of Buddhism was the Theravada, and they focus on that, they study that. All the myriad sutras try to give a better, clearer explanation of the path, hoping to culminate in the extinguishing of anger, greed, and delusion. Hundreds of years later, Mahayana starts. And there are several explanations, and you can choose the one you want. The first explanation is that the Buddha thought these were just too sophisticated for the people he was teaching. And one of the components of Buddha's teaching is he taught to the people he was dealing with, what they were capable of understanding. He went to a very rough seaport town, and the first precept is endeavor not to kill. Well, for somebody who's a bloodthirsty maniac, not killing is a good thing not to do. But 2,500 years later, we don't go out and kill. I mean, someone learning Buddhism is not likely to be a murderer, but you have to, I undertake the precept not to kill, which can be as simple as I'm not going to kill that ant because that ant has as much will to live as I do. Mm. We understand the interpenetration, the relationship we have with everything. But he taught to what the people around him did. So the explanation of the Mahayana sutras that came out were, he gave them to Nagas, who are serpent-like things, put them in a cave, and they brought them out when they thought the world was ready. Sometime between 1st century BC to the 4th or 5th century AD. That's one. The second is that forest monks in deep, deep meditation encountered the Buddha and had conversations. And from those conversations came the sutras. Third explanation is that followers of Buddhism who've been studying wanted to expand, fully explain some of the basics that didn't get fully explored. Choose whichever one you want. But it was the basis of the Mahayana. And so Reverend Karuna, because every Tuesday we would meet and we would study the sutras, the Pure Land, the Lotus, Kshitigarbha, the Heart Sutra, fully exploring, learning about it. But that wasn't the important part. It was to give us a common language, maybe a common thing to talk about, but it was her telling us. And I learned more from going to lunch with her than sitting in a room discussing Pure Land, because I got what the essence of Zen was, what the what the path for me should be in trying to find the extinguishing of my anger, greed, and delusion. Now, a little bit about what Mahayana's exploring, expanding, explaining. There are a number of teachers in the course of the hundreds of years. One of them is Nagarjuna, who did the Madhyamaka, which is called the middle way, but what it is you find in the Heart Sutra, that there is emptiness, that nothing exists outside, pure, it just itself, that everything is kind of like a process. Form is emptiness, emptiness is form, sensation, perception, volition, and consciousness are also like this. They don't exist independently. You can't have form without emptiness, because it would not be. But with the two, you have them. And then Yogacara, several hundred years later, came up with that mind is everything, that everything comes from the mind. This reality comes from my consciousness. I see you because of my consciousness. And quantum physics kind of proves that. You have a proton, and an observer says, well, that's where the proton is. A different observer looking at the same proton says, well, that's where it is. It can't exist in two places, but your mind has made it be there, where in fact it is, in essence, everywhere. So, a more mundane explanation is the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon. You learn something, and the learning of that thing will make you see that thing in more and more places where you hadn't seen it before. Your mind has been adjusted slightly. I remember sitting at the Spanish Steps in Rome, and I noticed somebody with a red tie. And I don't know why at that point, but I was fascinated as somebody would wear a red tie. Let's not use the contemporary use of the red tie, but back then, it was interesting to me. And I looked out, and then I began seeing red ties all over the place, where I had never, I'm sure the people were wearing red ties before my observing it, but I saw more of them. And Eskimos have 70 words for ice. I have one, that's ice. No, they have 70. Their mind is forming it. Their mind that becomes their reality. So, Yogacara said, well then, his advice was, listening to the rain, don't try to understand, just listen to the rain. That's the thing that you're thinking of. Don't try to explain it, just it's rain. So those two philosophies inform Zen. And along that way, there are also patriarchs who had their teachings, which basically, if you go back to the Buddha, the story is that he was giving a lecture about ending the three poisons, about reality. And he picked up a flower and caught the eye of Mahakashapa. And Mahakashapa smiled. And the Buddha knew that he had reached enlightenment. Because enlightenment, besides the extinguishing, is to see things as they truly are. And that's really hard, to see things as they truly are. Third patriarch, the path is not difficult unless you have a preference, and all is lost. So, one of the practices of Zen, it's direct experience, not something you have learned about and studied and then finally come to that, but it's the direct experience, the direct understanding. It's meditation, and it is your Buddha nature. Now, I'm not sure if it's Dogen, the Buddha nature, which makes life a lot easier. And we're following the Zen path. The Buddha nature, I think, is unique to Zen. And what it is that everyone has the Buddha nature. You just don't know it. It's like there's a cloud over it. But if you just realize it, then there's nothing more, because you are one with the world, one with existence. And in the meditation that helps you realize this, it's called Shikantaza, and it's just sitting, which kind of contradicts everything that we've heard here about meditation. And it's what Reverend Karuna, without telling us, taught us. To just sit. It's not counting breaths, it's not contemplating the corruption of the body. It's just sitting like a frog in a pond and being. If you want a process to get there, you kind of scan the body. You sit and you work your way up, because you have a separation, the mind and the body. And what you want to do is try to get that separation eliminated. So just work your way up, and when you hit the neck and the head, don't make a differentiation. Just, that's you. And then you think you've got a body, but you just keep breathing. And as Suzuki said about your thoughts, leave the front door open and the back door open. Let them pass through, but don't invite them to tea. So you're sitting there, thoughts come and go. You realize they're not permanent. They're not real. They're phantoms. They don't have a substantial reality. And as you sit there, breathing, the separation of your body from the other world disappears, and your Buddha nature is manifested. That's really enlightenment. If you feel no separation from the world. If you realize that you and I are one, not entity, one experience. And that's the practice I have. But you can't just get there. You have to do the samadhi, and maybe you have to do vipassana until you've quieted your mind. And then I just stop and I just breathe. And it's like you float off. And that's the best feeling in the world. And if you can carry that over so that, as like a Zen statement, when you carry water, it carry water. When you listen to the rain, just listen to the rain. Don't try to figure it out. So the end of it is the same as Theravada. We just have a different path and then come to a point where life is. And we just have to accept that it's like we're getting on a boat and setting out to sea, and the boat's going to sink. We have this life, it's wonderful, but it ends. And that's just part of it. So it's not a negative. That's just the flow of it. And if we can accept that, if we can accept it without the caveats and the exceptions that we try to put on things, that's what Buddhism is about and what, for me, Zen is about. The interconnectedness of everything, to realize that, to feel that, to accept the impermanence of everything, to even accept that there is suffering and it's caused by my clinging, and if I can end that, I don't suffer. Things end, and that's just part of life. If you suffer a loss, that's a part of life. You may shed tears, but it's a part of life, and you're part of life, and you're going to end. So take the moment by moment, enjoy it, fully experience it. That's what it's about, just fully experiencing what you're going through. Don't hold on to it, because you can't. And Zen has taught me that. And I thank and am grateful to Reverend Karuna for putting me on that path. And I am grateful that there is this temple where Theravada and Mahayana exist. We talk, we're friends, there's no animosity. We're each on our own path, and we respect that. So that's enough. Thank you. Any
questions? Comments?
Can you say in a nutshell again, what were the two bases of Zen you were saying?
Well, three. Direct experience. You don't put a screen of, what you may have learned about it, what you may have, it's just the direct experience of events. Meditation. Meditation is a big part of it because we live with monkey mind. The ego consciousness is the thing you really want to get rid of. You can't, because that's what gets you through life. If you want a job, ego is out there, me. But that's the biggest hindrance, if you can quiet that. So meditation is the way you quiet that. Shikantaza is the one where things come and go. You know. And realizing or accepting the Buddha nature. The Buddha nature is that you're okay, just the way you are. You started out okay, you're still okay, you've just got this stuff, and if you can get rid of that, you're okay. At the Zen Center, we went there with Karuna once, and they had this ritual where they went around and Buddha bows to Buddha. And I initially thought that's kind of silly, but it's true. Buddha bows to Buddha. Underneath all the stuff, we have the Buddha nature. And that's a basis for understanding and for realizing that you and I are the same. So those three things.
Thank you.
Welcome. Yes.
You were talking before about how people's perceptions can be different, whereas one person can, as you're saying, observe a proton here, instead another person can observe it here, as an example. But you say kind of one of the goals is to realize that we're all part of the same system entity.
Yeah.
So my question is, when you have moments with another person or group of people where you feel like you're observing reality differently, what's like a good way, like a technique to kind of reconcile that with
Compassion.
Yeah.
People have different viewpoints, different takes on things. So you have to accept that and try to find common ground. Okay, yeah. Yeah, compassion will do it. Like in the loving kindness meditation, I've been having a very hard time with the enemy part of it. And I thought about it, and it was confirmed. You just keep doing it until there is really no difference from the acquaintance one and the enemy one. They meld finally. And then you can give them, the benefit of the doubt. May they be well and happy and peaceful, free from suffering. But you practice that until until they meld with acquaintances. Have compassion. I mean, I'm not going to go into the compassion that I have given him, but that's the way to do it. So opposite viewpoints have compassion. You may totally disagree, or just in terms of, what color is that?
Yeah.
Why is red red? It's, not to get too esoteric, there is a cosmic consciousness where, little bits you've picked up and decided, and we kind of all share it. So we've accepted that whatever this is red, but there is no guarantee that the red I see is the red you see. There may be difference. People can see anywhere between 1 and 10 million colors, but the number of colors is infinite. So, but humankind has chosen, from the colorblind to the exquisite designer, somewhere in there you sit, but what our physical ability is between 1 and 10 million.
That reminds me of an activity I used to do with students where I would show them a picture of the dress, the famous dress that some people see as blue and black and some people
Yeah.
see as gold and white. And they were middle school at that point. They were shocked that some students would see it as blue and black and some people would see it as white and gold. They couldn't believe, how did you possibly see this? But just proved that everyone has a different point.
A different view, right.
Yeah.
So we accept that.
Although we have all these different experiences, I mean, one thing that I love about Buddhism doesn't say we're all one. It says we're all interconnected. So we have to appreciate our interconnection.
Yeah.
You can't be separate from it.
No. There's in Shilai Temple, there's this incredible sculpture. It's in Buddhist teachings, it's Idra's web, and it's this sphere and all these web-like things that connect, and at each crossing there's a jewel, and the jewel reflects all the other jewels. So it basically is a visual presentation of the interconnectedness of everything. The jewel sees everything, and every jewel sees them, so it's all interconnected. Yes?
I'm very grateful to be here today, and I love your talk. I love it when anybody talks about the history of IBMC. Karna Dhamma was one of my favorite people. I love it if somebody speaks highly of her. But what comes through in your talk today is like, to me, we all come from different places. When I landed here, I didn't know, I got pulled in, I don't know what was happening with my life, but I became aware that this is something very, very interesting. And today the phrase comes to my mind, the open secret. And I became aware the foundation of this temple is a charismatic, in fact, something that the founder is a very charismatic being and really worked to put everybody together in town and all that. And that this is very, very immediately popular. And Reverend Kusala on his, I don't know if it's the Urban Dharma site, but he has
Urban
lots
Dharma.
of films and pictures and history. And if anybody hasn't seen that, I would recommend it.
Right.
And although I wish that I did what you did, we all have different lives. And I was in the background, but I got to see some very innovative, progressive mass ordinations and what a unique person in the Dharma was. And if I thought I might not be on the good side in any day, all I had to remind her of was the experience she had with her teacher, and then we were getting along really good because of that charismatic element.
Yeah.
And it came through in your talk today for me. And I'm deeply, deeply appreciative of that. And over the years, yeah, you see the tour buses will come in because this temple is famous in other communities. What happened here was famous internationally. And in our backyard, nobody knows what this is.
Yeah.
What do you guys do in there? So I'm grateful for the memories. It's just beautiful. Thank you.
I'm grateful for this. Shraddha found it before I did. I mean, religion was not, I was ex-Catholic, I'd had enough of it. He would come in and he came out and says, you just come in, don't sit in the car. I mean, so I sat, and there was no instruction about, we would meditate for 20 minutes. I had no idea. I couldn't stay still for 20 minutes. But gradually, you got into it. And you realized, she had her stroke, so it was difficult to understand her, but she was up there giving Dharma talks. And gradually, you were drawn into it. And she was very observant. She knew, she picked us out as to, who might she help on a path, so there was no proselytizing. It just was, if you stumbled in, it was a fortuitous event. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
You said like with Verena, it was never proselytizing, but she would kind of intercede herself in your life.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
So she would sit down next to you and talk to you and get to know you and stay there as long as it was appropriate and then go away when it was appropriate. So
Yeah.
also,
Most definitely.
She was remarkable. She used to go to Pete's coffee shop on Larchmont, and she had a whole circle of people that were expecting her every afternoon. Just like, how did you find it? How did they find you? And she was, she could meet anybody and relate to them. There was a homeless person that was wandering on the street. She invited them in, gave them a shower, fed them. He hung out here, but Buddhism wasn't for him, and he went off someplace. But to invite a total stranger, yeah, she was remarkable.
you talk about the interconnectedness of things, and I think about the ceremony we have here periodically with the spring,
Yes.
where it's all the students there and everybody's holding on to the spring.
Yes.
Really reminds everybody of that interconnectedness.
Right.
I've used that when we've done weddings. I take a red ribbon, and because marriages are not just the two people, it's that community that they have around them that makes a marriage.
When this started off, you mentioned everything was kind of Ayurvedic, with the Buddha teaching Sarnath and, branching out from there. And I'm wondering, where did Zen come in?
Years later,
Yes.
it came from India to China,
So,
and there was a melding of Taoist. Was it Bodhidharma did it when he came over? But it was a natural progression as people thought about what the Buddha had said. There was a kernel about it that they then explored and took it to the logical conclusion. So it's
Well-
based on Buddhist.
all
There's no going away from the Buddhist teaching, but it's just an expansion, an elaboration of it.
whatever works for you.
Yeah,
That's what it is. Whatever works for you.
one of the things,
The basic premises are the same. The very, very same.
yeah, and you don't have to accept it. It's what you come to believe in, what you can realize. And the thing is that I've kept things like in the back of my mind that I couldn't quite resolve. But as you continue your practice, you realize, oh, that's what it means. The Buddha taught for 85 years. He didn't say the same thing for 85 years. His basic premises were the same, but he came at it in different ways because eventually something resonates. Like the flower. It's
Okay.
that's it. That I don't need to explain it. I don't need to dissect it. It's a flower.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, yeah, sure, Paul.
Steve reminded me. Aparna came up, sat next to me, and based on what you've shared with us today, she turns to me and says, you know, sometimes you just gotta sit.
Yes.
That's a great
Yes.
place to end it.
Yeah. Should I
Okay.
give her last words?
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
She was a remarkable woman. She was at the end very ill and not too cognizant of things, lying in the bed.
died.
She opened her eyes, looked around, and said, "That's it,"
Died.
and died.
Okay. We will now chant page. Do we have time for this?
4 and 10.
4 and 10. We don't have time for this. We'll chant pages 4 and 10.
But if you'd like on your own, read the Heart Sutra, which you could spend years on, but that's the distillation of Mahayana and Zen. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Buddham saranam gacchami. Dhammam saranam gacchami. Sangham saranam gacchami. Sentient beings are numberless. I vow to save them all. Deluding passions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them all. Dharma gates are limitless. I vow to study them all. Buddha's way is supreme. I vow to attain it. May suffering ones be suffering free, and the fear-struck fearless be. May the grieving shed all grief, and the sick find health relief. When ye do kung adu ufokap unyate enyadam du chunga shange eikon when ye do kung adu ufokap unyate enyadam du chunga shange eikon when ye do kung adu ufokap unyate enyadam du chunga shange eikon
Om Mani Padme Hum. Well, thank you for being here. We will have tea and cookies. And I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. And I hope you all have a wonderful week. And I hope you have a week of practicing kindness to yourself and kindness to others.